History never writes a story about the man who chose wrong. It simply erases him. Your legacy will fade, not with a bang, but with a slow, quiet surrender that you barely noticed. You look around one day and wonder where your fire went. The problem wasn't a lack of strength. It was a critical error at the gate of your life. You let the wrong person in, and you mistook the spark in her hand for a light, not the flame that would consume everything. No one prepares you for this. Not your family, not your friends, and the world around you. It thrives on your inability to see clearly. But one voice from the past cuts through the noise with ruthless clarity. It tells you that a great man's ruin is seldom an accident. It is almost always a choice, a tempting, beautiful, costly choice. While today's culture sells fairy tales, this ancient wisdom offers you the one thing you truly need, the truth. As he observed, men trust their eyes far more than their hands. We see the surface. We are captivated by the appearance. Very few ever touch the reality beneath. The common man is ruled by what he sees. But the man of wisdom, he looks deeper. He sees past the smile, the form, the clever words. He studies her habits, her principles, her self-control, not in the spotlight, but in the shadows, when she believes herself unseen. Let me give you the first uncompromising rule. Women exist in one of two categories. They are either an asset or a liability. There are no exceptions. Not she's trying, not it's complex. She either amplifies your existence or she depletes it steadily and completely. Here is the difficult reality. Many have perfected the skill of seeming like an asset while living as a drain. They offer sweet words that cloud your judgment. They applaud your goals while gently steering you off path. And you, if you are not fully in command of yourself, will name this drain love. This isn't about bitterness. It's about tactics. Because if you don't learn to judge with cold precision, you will waste away and call it dedication. He warned that the deceiver always finds the willing participant. The man who selects based on beauty alone has already agreed to his own defeat. He just hasn't paid the price yet. The gravest threat isn't the woman. It's your own lack of judgment. You see, beauty dazzles the unprepared mind. In an age that teaches men to idolize the surface and ignore the core, is it any wonder so many kneel before what looks good and ignore what is good? But this wisdom wasn't penned for dreamers. It was written for leaders. And a true leader never allows the gates of his domain to be opened by a feeling disguised as a gift. A destructive woman doesn't need to scream. She only needs to divert you from your aim, your journey, your code. She dims your drive by demanding you justify it. She weakens your resolve by labeling it stubborn. And before you know it, you exchange your crown for her approval. The wise man recognizes illusion for what it is, a trap wrapped in affection. When he considers a woman, his first question isn't, is she attractive? It is this, can she support my purpose without seeking command it? That is the trial. And most men never pose a question until all they've worked for is dust. Here is your next law. Never commit to a woman who does not honor your role as leader. Her charming tone when she wants something means nothing. Her stunning appearance means nothing. If she fights your authority instead of uniting with it, walk away. If she questions your path without insight, leave. If she views your power as a problem instead of protection, she is not your partner. She is a tempest wearing a pleasant face. The author understood command. He knew that those who fail to hold it become servants to what they hope to guide. You tell yourself you can manage her turmoil. You tell yourself you can bargain for esteem. You tell yourself affection will mend it. It will not, because once you pick her, she holds the influence you surrendered. You gave away, wrapped in soft terms like adjustment and teamwork, but he knew what too many modern men have forgotten. It is better be respected than loved. If you cannot have both, don't mistake this. This isn't about being harsh. It's about being honored. A man who cannot earn a woman's respect will never hold her loyalty. A woman will test your limits to locate your backbone. And when she finds it missing, she will hold you in contempt for it. She may not depart. She'll remain just long enough to dismantle you. And at the end, she'll sigh and say, "You're not the man I met." No, you fell apart, and she witnessed every moment. You were taught that manhood must be gentle, that guidance must be a group effort, that true power lies in constant compromise, especially with women. But he revealed what occurs when authority is watered down. It disappears. The instant you let your leadership become a topic for debate, you have lost it. She will not respect a man who is sorry for taking the lead. She may grin. She may agree, but in her core she'll know you lack a foundation. And once a woman senses that you will bend for her ease, she will lose all wish to stand at your side. Because fundamentally, even the most contemporary woman wishes to follow a man whose position is firm. This doesn't require cruelty. It demands clarity. Clear in what you require. Clear in your goal. Clear in your lines. Because if she can shake you with emotion, lure you into passivity, or debate her way past your rules, you are not her leader. You are her assignment, her instrument, her temporary solution until a man with fortitude arrives. You don't gain loyalty from affection. You gain it from being a man who cannot be steered. Your third command is this. Observe how she deals with stillness. Any woman can be pleasant when she's amused, when she receives presents, when your gaze is fixed on her. But watch what occurs when excitement dims. Does she build calm? Or does she manufacture crisis just to feel significant? This is her authentic self. A woman who needs turmoil to feel alive will wreck your tomorrow. The instant real life requires patience, concentration, or restraint. You need a woman who can exist in quiet, not one who torches your world because she feels unstimulated. Then there's a falsehood culture tells you. Her history is unimportant. You're fragile if you mind. The ancient strategist would scorn you for this, because he understood. Words sworn were in need of yesterday. Words broken are in need of today. Her past is your future. The woman who was disloyal before you isn't reborn with you. She is refining her technique. If her story is disorder, your shared future will mirror it. Don't overlook the signals, because her lies come with a pretty smile. Next principle. Never tie your name to someone who scoffs at your goal. You are a man with a plan, or you must become one. And a man with a plan does not marry desire. He joins with intention. If she mocks your routine, if she scoffs at your aspirations, if she adores gossip but ridicules your lasting impact, she's not your supporter. She's your saboteur. A woman who cannot endure calm will hunger for disturbance. And if none exists, she will generate it. When the attention dies, when the treats cease, when life becomes routine, she grows uneasy. Unease in a woman is not trivial. It is often a source of betrayal, conflict, and undermining, masked as emotional freedom. He would name this correctly. An untrained spirit, hazardous to any man on a quest. If you disregard this trait, she won't ruin you with noise. She'll do it quietly with subtle uncertainty, with emotional distance when you work on your craft, with bitterness when you refuse to play her games. And then there is her record. You've been told her record doesn't matter. But that's a deception meant to preserve your ignorance. A woman who hops from person to person doesn't cherish substance. She cherishes newness. A woman who's betrayed others doesn't require saving. She requires responsibility. You are not her healer. You're not her redemption. You're the next entry in her cycle, unless you establish the boundary. Study her cycles, not her pledges. Because the woman who belittles your mission will one day belittle your collapse and name it progress. Here is a fact no man desires to hear, but every genuine man must accept. If she does not fear your departure, she will never appreciate your presence. A woman who is certain you'll always stay, no matter her actions, no matter how little value she adds, will eventually look down on you. Why? Because what is free has no worth, and he knew men should be either fully embraced or fully removed. There is no middle road. Women apply the same rule to you. If she cannot lose you, she will direct you. If she fears losing you, she will strive to meet your mark. This isn't about tricks. It's about holding your ground. The man who is prepared to leave always holds the leverage. And no woman values a man who trades that leverage for coziness. Stop giving more focus to disregard. Stop pleading for faithfulness with frantic acts. Stop curving your spine to dodge solitude. He didn't write for tender men. He wrote for commanders. And a commander doesn't argue his value. He defends it. He evaluates her. He selects her based on measures, not sensations. And that brings us to the next command. Select a woman whose company reinforces your resolve, not relaxes it. The incorrect woman will persuade you to miss your training, mock your limits, and call your drive extreme. She'll do it while laughing. She'll name it care, but it is betrayal. Because a true woman, an asset, doesn't plead with you to stay relaxed. She challenges you to stay keen. A woman who doesn't fear your exit will never truly value what she possesses. She might say she adores you. She might even think it. But without that underlying awareness, that knowledge that you could depart, she will drift into apathy or worse, silent scorn. That's why women instinctively probe borders. It's not about meanness. It's about verification. They need to know, is this man authentic? Is he solid? Or is he just acting strong to keep me? If you hesitate, she knows. If you yield, she possesses you. A man who cannot walk away from a woman cannot guide her. And he grasped this ages ago, long before modern thought gave a label. Respect is planted in a type of fear, not fear of harm, but fear of outcome, fear of your absence. That fear keeps her rooted in truth, not fiction. So while others tell you to be vulnerable, he would tell you to hone your blade. Because if a woman can remain in your world while disrespecting your code, you're not her lord. You're her joke. And history is a book of jokes who loved too gently and lost it all. Now let me address the man who feels caught. The man who hears this and believes, I'm too late. I already picked poorly. You are not too late, but it will demand a cost. It will cost your ease, your ego, perhaps your wealth, perhaps years you cannot recover. But ask yourself this, what carries a higher price? Leaving now, or decaying slowly for the next 2 decades? Because understand this, the wrong woman will empty you. And when you're hollow, she will leave regardless. Not because she's wicked, but because nature has no pity for a man who refuses to command himself. He knew people value what they dread losing. And if she doesn't dread losing you, it's because you instructed her not to. Let that instruction end now. You are not here to be an emotional dump, a background figure in her tale, a repairman for broken things. You are here to construct. And what you construct will either be strengthened by her or burned by her nature. Most modern men don't fail from weakness. They fail because they were taught to call their weakness love. They name surrender kindness. They name quiet harmony. They name self-betrayal dedication. But he ripped away the fantasy. A leader who lacks wisdom himself cannot receive wise counsel. What does this mean? If you're frail, you will only draw women who feed on frailty. You'll mistake their chaos for connection, and you'll keep telling yourself you're unfortunate when in fact, you're just undisciplined. The most perilous lie a man can tell is, she'll improve. No, she won't. She'll adjust just enough to keep you attached. Then she'll return to the disorder that secretly energizes her, because you were never a man she followed, just one she handled. The truth is, you're not trapped. You're dependent. Dependent on the hope that this instance will be distinct, that this next fight will bring a change, that your endurance, your hurt, your offerings will be returned with fidelity. They will not, because when you pick the wrong woman, you enter a game where you lose by its very rules. Every time you give in to avoid a fight, you lose standing. Every time you mute your truth for quiet, you lose esteem. And once she senses your life orbits her validation, she will use it to reshape you into something lesser. He didn't write for men who need sympathy. He wrote for men who need to retake the seat of their own mind. The first step, confess you surrendered. Then rise, not for vengeance, but for renewal. Because the man you were is why she lingered. The man you must become is why she cannot exist in your coming days. Here is what no inspiring speaker will ever admit. No woman on this planet is your reason for being. Not one. Your reason is your quest, your self-mastery, your name left behind. A woman can enhance it or poison it, but she can never be it. Yet, most men today reverse this. They make her the quest. They circle her moods. They wake each day seeking her approval, and then wonder why her respect vanishes. Because women do not trust men who circle them. They trust men who circle nothing but their aim. That's why the identical woman who disrespects one man will revere another. Not because she transformed, but because the structure transformed. Here is a severe lesson. Never pick a woman who cannot prosper in your absence. You wish to see her real character? Step away. Vanish. Observe. Does she build, or does she crumble the moment your focus shifts? If she cannot hold the line when you're not looking, she will break at the moment life challenges you. He taught leaders to strengthen their strongholds, to guard their frontiers. You are no different. Your energy is your fortress. Your standards are your gates. Let the wrong woman through, and it won't be a battle. It'll be a slow rot from within. And here's the painful sting. Most men who fell knew she was the wrong choice. They simply lacked the courage to turn and go. A man without an aim becomes a servant to his feelings and a slave to hers. And the moment you put a woman at the heart of your life, she instinctively starts to test if you were ever built to lead. She doesn't want to be your heir. She wants to feel your heat. That's why your absence is the final measure. Not to manipulate, but to uncover her reality. Does she stay firm? Does she protect what you've built? Or does she look for validation elsewhere the second you stop feeding her pride? Most men never run this test because they fear the result, and that fear keeps them faithful to a dream instead of faithful to themselves. Your standards are not requests. They are shields against control, against aversion, against decay. He warned leaders never to let foes to the gates, but modern men hand the keys to women they hardly know, then weep treason when their peace turns to ash. You are not just guarding your heart, you are guarding your name. And the woman you choose is either helping you fortify it, or she is laying stones to your ruin, while smiling in your embrace. Let me tell you why most men ignore every warning sign. Because deep inside they believe they are the special case. You think your love is unique. You think your tolerance will transform her. You think if you wait long enough she'll finally recognize your value. She will not. You're not her parent. You're not her counselor. You're not her deity. You are a man. And a man's time is his life. Every minute you spend trying to rebuild a woman who refuses to grow is a minute you rob from a man you will be. He did not soften his language. The wise man acts now what the fool acts eventually. If you stay with the wrong woman because you're afraid to begin again, you're not being faithful. You're just postponing your end. And here's the part most men won't confess. You chose her. Whether through craving, solitude, or lax criteria, you allowed her entry. You dismissed the warnings. You quieted your gut, and now you're paying the toll. But the pain only continues if you keep deceiving yourself. Because the reality is this. No woman has ever destroyed a man's life. He did that by choosing her. And unless you accept that, you'll repeat the pattern, blaming women, blaming the world, blaming chance when the true adversary is your refusal to lift your requirements. Your fall didn't start when she failed you. It started the instant you refused to see her truly. You justified the warnings. You idealized the dysfunction. You told yourself, she's just special, while your spirit was already shouting, escape. But you remained, not from power, but from dread. Dread of restarting. Dread of being solitary. Dread of admitting that you invested your hours, your effort, your soul into someone who never deserved it. And he would tell you the fact you dodge. He who permits himself to be fooled is already halfway beaten. You didn't just choose her, you guarded her reputation. Even as she sucked you dry, you defended her to your circle. You crafted reasons for her disregard. And now the cost is your purpose. But here is the awakening. You don't need more signals. You need more self-regard. Because every second you spend explaining her place is a second stolen from the man you are meant to be. She didn't ruin you. She exposed you. The part of you still hooked on drama, on praise, on possibility. That version of you must die. Because no queen will follow a man who bows to his own delusions. Here is a law that will either liberate you or chain you to chaos. You do not ascend by being fortunate with women. You ascend by being relentless with your standards. The world won't cheer you for this. They'll ridicule you, call you domineering, say you're harsh, icy, damaging. But let them speak. Because a man who stands alone in peace is richer than the one surrounded by chaos, called love. If something within you moved today, if you felt reality scorch through your daydreams, don't scroll away. Because he didn't write for children wanting comfort. He wrote for men prepared to conquer. And to conquer, you must grasp that every woman you allow near your life is either honing your blade or blunting it. There is no neutral woman. There is no safe selection. She will either feed your quest or become the quiet adversary inside your walls. So decide like a ruler, not a supplicant. Evaluate her. Challenge her. Withdraw and witness what appears in the space you leave. Because any woman can behave when watched. The real inquiry is, who does she become when you're gone? If she lives by your code when no prize is offered, you may have found something precious. But if she wanders the moment you cease pursuing, she was never yours to start with. So choose with wisdom, lead without apology, and never forget, A man who fears losing a woman is already owned. A man who fears losing his purpose owns the world. If you found value in this, please like and subscribe to Winds of Thought. Your support fuels this work.